You're listening to the Infinite Banking Mastery Podcast. Did you know that you could build a tax-free pool of wealth that's liquid and accessible all your life while building your retirement nest egg? Gain full control of your financial future and stop relying on the government and banks. The wealthy have already discovered this wealth-building secret. Now it's your turn to get financially secure without following the conventional wisdom that keeps you in debt to banks. Now here's your host, Valerie LaRocque.
What if the savings strategy you were told to trust, the one you've been diligently funding for years, was actually designed to limit the freedom you have with your own money for most of your adult life, and a silent partner an ever-growing cut of everything you've saved, and charge you a management fee on money that doesn't even belong to you and never will? I'm Valerie LaRocque, and welcome to Infinite Banking Mastery. This episode is going to be part of a two-part series, and today is going to be one of those episodes where you might feel a little frustrated by the end, but that's good. That frustration means you're paying attention. This two-part series will be a comparison of common savings tools versus the ideals savings tool. So I want to go over a list of criteria that I think is important for any place you are choosing to store your hard-earned money. First of all, guaranteed growth. I prefer guaranteed growth over historical averages or projected returns. Guaranteed, that's something I've loved ever since I learned of the infinite banking concept and insurance products. I love the G word. 2, tax-free access. Not only tax-deferred, but income tax-free. Being able to access capital when you need it without a tax consequence. Full liquidity. Your money should be available to you on your timeline. And the fourth thing, no contribution caps. This is especially important for high earners in their peak years. This is one of the reasons that Tony Robbins calls overfunding a permanent life insurance policy the rich man's ROTH in his book, Money, Master the Game. Protection from creditors. This is critical for business owners, high liability professionals, for physicians. Life insurance cash values are protected from creditors in most states. You would want to check with an attorney in your state regarding the laws that are for creditor protection in your state. And finally, this one you are definitely not going to find with other savings vehicles, but growth that continues even when you use the money. That's a very special feature that I know many of you are aware of and love about this strategy and the infinite banking concept. So let's take a look at some savings options and compare this criteria. A regular savings account. Accessible? Yes, it's accessible. Growing? Well, barely. You're earning fractions of a percent while inflation quietly erodes your purchasing power every single year. There is no tax advantage, no protection, no real growth, I would say. It's financial equivalent of running on a treadmill. You're moving, but you're really not going anywhere. Now, of course, people desire to have savings accounts for quick liquidity. When you need money fast, you can easily go to your savings account. I will note that if you need to access capital from your life insurance policy, it can be quick, but it won't be as quick as a savings account at your local bank. However, it will be much safer being stored at the life insurance company than the bank. CDs, or certificates of deposit, has marginally better interest, but now you've traded the one thing a savings account had going for it, which is the access. Your money will be locked up for about 6 months, maybe a year or longer. There's different time periods you can select. And if you need it earlier than the time period you selected, you will pay a penalty. A CD will be fully taxable. There's no living benefits and no legacy left to those you care about aside from the value of the money that's in the CD. The bank wins either way, and you gave them control of your timeline to get a slightly better rate. And of course, saving in the market. And specifically, I'm referring to retirement accounts. This is where most high earners and business owners are parking the majority of their savings. And this is where the story gets genuinely painful, I would say. There are 3 separate problems buried inside this one strategy. Problem number 1, you don't have access to your money. Think about when most people actually start seriously saving. Usually after school loans are paid off, after starting a family, after their early career grind when they really get going. For most people, serious contributions begin somewhere in their mid to late 30s or maybe 40. Two very important rules you need to understand with these types of accounts. Rule number one, most of you know the government charges you a 10% early withdrawal penalty on top of ordinary taxes if you access your tax-deferred retirement account before age 59 and a half. Like I said, everyone pretty much knows this rule. Before 59 and a half, the government puts a lock on your money, basically, and then charges you to break it. Rule number two, at age 73, and I want to be clear, they have changed this age multiple times over the last decade. It used to be 70 and a half, then 72, now 73. And under current law, it's supposed to go to 75 in 2033. The government requires you to start taking money out whether you want to or not. These are called required minimum distributions, RMDs. You must withdraw a government-calculated amount every single year, whether the timing is right for you or not, whether the market is up or down. And every dollar you take out is taxed as ordinary income. So here is your window of actual financial freedom inside this account. From 59 and a half, when the early withdrawal penalty finally lifts, to 73, when the government takes the wheel and starts forcing distributions. That's only 13 and a half years. 13 and a half years of truly voluntary, flexible access to the money you spent your entire career building. Before 59 and a half, there's a penalty to get in. And after 73, they force you out on their schedule, taxed as ordinary income. 13 and a half years in the middle. That's the window they give you. As I mentioned, they have already moved the RMD age 3 times, and every time they move it, they decide, not you. You are building a financial plan around rules that the government can and does change whenever it suits them. For you business owners out there, your best earning years are unpredictable. You need capital that is flexible and accessible, not locked inside of a government-controlled timeline with a 10% penalty to exit early. For you W-2 earners who are in your prime earning years right now, most likely a meaningful percentage of your peak income is flowing into a system that won't let you touch it for decades and then forces you to take it out on their schedule, not yours. Problem number 2, the tax time bomb. I've mentioned this gentleman before, Ed Slott, who is one of the most respected retirement tax experts in America, a CPA who has spent over 20 years warning both consumers and financial advisors about what he calls the day of reckoning. Here's what he wants you to understand. And this is from Ed Slott's foreword in the book, The Power of Zero. Every dollar you put into a tax-deferred savings account is a dollar the government has a growing claim on. As your account grows, so does the government's share. They are a silent partner in your savings. And unlike a traditional business partner, they can increase their percentage whenever they decide they need more money. Ed Slott has been warning for decades that taxes are going up, not as a prediction, as a matter of plain arithmetic. The government's financial obligations continue to grow, and those who have saved diligently in tax-deferred accounts are the most visible, most accessible source of revenue. Historically, from 1936 to 1981, the top federal income tax rate never dropped below 70%. In fact, rates exceeded 90% at their peak, and that is not ancient history, that is within living memory. Now, here's the terrifying truth, that you don't know what the tax rate will be when you finally get to that 13.5-year window. You've been making deposits into an account for 30 years, and you have no idea what percentage the government will take when you go to make a withdrawal. You are making a bet on a number you cannot see. Now, you love your tax-deferred account because it allows you to pay less in taxes today. However, tax-deferred does not mean tax-free, it means tax-postponed. And postponed to a future where tax rates are unknown and are almost certainly going to be higher than they are today. The harder you worked, the more you saved, the more diligently you played by the rules, the bigger the target on your back. Ed Slott puts it plainly. Those who save the most diligently will soon realize that a substantial chunk of their savings is sitting there as a target for a revenue-hungry Uncle Sam. The question is, are you prepared for that? Problem number 3, the hidden fee on money that isn't yours. Here's something your account statement will never show you. Every year, you pay a management fee on the total balance of your market-based savings account. That fee, whether it's expressed as an expense ratio, an advisory fee, or a fund management cost, is calculated on every dollar in that account. That sounds normal, right? But here's the problem. A significant portion of your account balance does not belong to you. It belongs to the government in the form of deferred taxes that you haven't paid yet. If your account has grown to, say, $500,000, and your future tax liability on that money is, say, 30%, then roughly $150,000 of that balance is the government's money, not yours. But you are paying a management fee on all $500,000. You are paying your financial advisor or fund manager to manage $150,000 that you will never receive. You are paying a fee on money that does not belong to you. You are paying to manage it for an owner, the government, who never agreed to pay that fee themselves. You're picking up the tab for them every single year. And think about this too. Those fees compound in reverse. Every dollar you pay in fees is a dollar that never gets to compound for you. Over decades, that is not a small number. So let's recap. 1, the savings vehicle most Americans use for retirement gives you approximately 13 and a half years of actual flexible access to your money. 2, the entire time you're saving, you are accumulating a tax liability at an unknown future rate to an entity that can change the rules whenever it needs more money. And 3, you are paying management fees every single year on a portion of that balance that will ultimately go to the government, not you. I said at the beginning of this episode that you are likely to feel frustrated by the end, and here's what I want you to know. There is a savings tool that was designed from the ground up to solve every single one of these problems. It's been around for over 200 years. Banks use it, corporations use it, the ultra-wealthy use it, and somehow it never made it into the conversation most of us had when we were told where to put our money. In next week's episode, we are going to talk about the ideal savings tool, why it checks every box that the tools we talked about today could not. You don't want to miss it. I hope you all have a fantastic week.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.